There we go. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Hi. Welcome to a special one shot here, Once Upon a Game, where we're playing The Republic, which is a really, really cool game about social justice. I'm really excited here to have one of the designers of it, friends. I'm just excited to have friends on as well. Hi. What's up? If you're joining us, I'm Eric. I'm Eric Vulgaris here on the internet. Once Upon a Game is a weekly one-shot show where we feature various random role-playing games, preferably ones that we have never seen before, or ones that are brand new, or just not enough people know about them. And so I like to feature them and play them because we should always be playing more games because there's so many awesome, great games out there. And maybe it's not enough to just buy them and see them. You see them played and realize this is what you want and play them. Or not, I don't know, but just play more games, and that's what's important. So, hi. Let's go around real quick and say who everyone is and what they're doing, what they've been up to recently. So let's just go down the list here. So, Ash, welcome. You're new here.
Yeah,
Hi.
my first time hanging out with you guys. I'm Ash. I'm a CGIAK, ACGIAK on Twitter. And yeah, I'm the main designer for the Republic. Uh, it's I apologize if it's a bit dark in here. It's summer, so unlike you lovely people who get to enjoy the cool, I'm sitting here with like as much shade as possible. But yeah, I'm really excited to run this, and we're playing it with two players, which I've not tried before, and we're running it with Andrew, which is I'm sure we'll create interesting play experiences out of the mechanics. And I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. Speaking of Andrew, what's up, man?
Hi. Uh, it's winter and I'm hiding. It's like snowing outside and I don't want to have anything to do with it. So
Yeah,
thanks for inviting me to play a game.
it's dark and sad. Cool. So, before we get started getting squared away and talking about what this is, I just want to do a quick little thing about what we're doing here. So this is a one-shot place, and while Andrew and I have played together, never played with Ash, and even if Andrew and I have played together, if all of us have ever played together, we don't always know what's going on in our heads. We don't really always sure what our comfort levels are, what our boundaries are. I know this game might come up with a special extra warnings that we'll probably talk about a little bit later, but just as a preface here, this is a rule that will trump all other rules of our games, and that's sort of like the X card or the veil, just enough to know that, hey, we're people playing a game, and there may be things that are uncomfortable with the content or the direction of the game or whatever, and just recognizing that, if we need to, we can take a break or say like, hey, can we not talk about that, or can we move on, or can we just kind of shut that down, or like go fade to black at the rest of that scene. Just being able to recognize that we're adults here playing a game at a table, and you don't have to justify necessarily. We believe you and we trust you, and your happiness is the most important thing, and safety, right? So, are we cool with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's talk about. So the Republic requires us, because it discusses social justice. The rules require us to establish a verbal and a non-verbal signal to indicate that we're uncomfortable with the content. So as an X card. So I usually use palm to the cam.
Okay.
That's my non-verbal signal. And then I use the phrase red card personally, to say
Seems good.
I'm not okay with this. Let's and the reason that we do that is some people have trouble verbalizing when they're uncomfortable, and some people have trouble moving when they're uncomfortable. They find they experience like a physical experience, so they can't.
Yeah,
They
like
might
a
not be
deer in
able to.
headlights kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they might have trouble either verbally or physically indicating. So we make sure that we have both. The other thing that we're required to do is to set our boundaries, because this game is about an oppressive system where large groups of people are dehumanized. So we need to talk about, are there things that we specifically don't want to see in our game? I don't want to see for instance, rape or violent sexual assault in my games. Like just that's like that's the thing that exists in this world, but we don't want. I don't want to explore that in this game, at least. Maybe in another space, I might be more comfortable, and I might want to address that. But that's for this game. That's not a thing that I want to see on the screen. There are other things that, like if you're claustrophobic, you might not want me to be describing tight, small, confined spaces or anything like that. Is there anything that you guys want me to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on?
I think for me, it's kind of just violence to animals in a way.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, like abuse to pets and stuff is a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Cool. This is a good place to also talk about which of the realms that we're going to interact with. Mm-hmm. So the Republic. Well, I'll read some block text to us for a moment, so just so that we can really get like what we're discussing in these sorts of things.
Okay.
So, in the Republic, your character's civilization is a well-ordered, rational, and technologically advanced, harnessing the sciences, the powers of the spirit world, and the mystical ways of element bending for the advancement of the Republic. It is a Hellenistic utopia ruled by a dispassionate senate of men proven wise, steady, and long-thinking, and their formal advisors, philosophers, and masters of every school. Its civic monuments, technological marvels, and cultural marvels mark it as the greatest civilization within the known world. It is also atrocious. It denies the full humanity of women and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of foreigners and ethnic minorities and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of those who defy norms of gender and sexuality and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of those with disabilities and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It affirms only the humanity of its citizens. The labor and lives of all others exist to serve only these. You are not such a person. You are forbidden from voting on the affairs of the state. You are denied full autonomy over your own body. Your voice is discredited and silenced in public. You are forbidden from learning the mystical ways of bending the elements. You have learned the mystical ways of bending the elements. So the Republic itself as a civilization and institution, we have three kind of like ways and levels in which we can engage with them. We can start our characters in the metropolis, which is right in the heart, the beating civic centers of the Republic, and that's where if we really want to go to town and like fuck shit up, and really fight that fight hard, that's where we start. But it is also the place where we're going to be directly engaging with that atrocity the most. We're going to see more of those dehumanizations and things. Mm-hmm. We have an area called the Borderlands, which is the spaces at the edges of the Republic's influence, where people are organized into smaller, often more rural communities, and that's where the Republic still influences things, but they're equally dealing with the things, the issues of just getting by, with like this remote thing, just occasionally saying, no, you can't do that. And also dealing with things from the wilds, like intruding on their lands. And thirdly, we have the option to play in the barbarous wilds, which is where we decide, no, fuck it, we're leaving this civilization. It still like lives on in us. We still have to deal with those issues, but we're going to go out into the wild and forge our own path that is separate to this entire society. We've given up on it.
So okay.
So while we're discussing things that we want to not see on screen, we should also discuss how closely we want to interact with that atrocity.
What are you thinking, Andrew?
You're muted for me, Eric.
Of course. Yes, sorry. I muted myself to hear the full, unadulterated, beautiful speech of the block text for the premise of this game. So what are you thinking, Andrew? You're also muted.
I don't have like a strong preference for any of those three. I mean, I guess leaning more towards the being in the metropolis or being in the rural setting, but definitely not like in the wilds for me. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I was feeling like I'd rather deal with more external threats than the internal prejudices. I think that the Borderlands, or excuse me, that the barbarous wilds would really let you explore. So yeah, I was kind of gonna put my vote to Borderlands.
Okay, yeah, I'm down to playing the Borderlands.
That sounds awesome. Okay, cool. So the other thing that so I think that gives us a good place to like start working out our characters.
Okay.
Because then we can try and work out what. So your characters by inherently know how to have learned the element bending, the ways of element bending, which is forbidden to them, which means that they are inherently going to always be criminals. They can't unlearn. They're always like in breach of the laws and social norms in some way. So the Borderlands often suggests that people have escaped from or have kind of moved out towards the Borderlands or have grown up there. But it means that there's not a constant threat of people coming down on you and just being like, you've got access to this thing you shouldn't have. So it takes a bit of the pressure off, and we can have a bit more. It can be a bit more lighthearted, which is nice. Cool. So let's go through character creation. So creating a character is just answering a series of questions. You should have a character sheet assigned to you in Roll20.
Yep.
Excellent. And we're having a look at handout 1, if you want to look at that. Otherwise, I will talk us through it. So the first thing that we ask is a character's name, but you might want to come back to that if you want to like work that out based on other things. The main thing that we want to know is, why is your character not a citizen of the Republic? What is their calling? What do they believe in? What are they going to do about it? And what is their bond with the other characters? These are the main like verbal questions rather than like they're not as heavily mechanical. And it's important that we work out exactly like which categories of marginalized people do our characters fit into, and they can be just like a member of one of those classes or multiple. But we want to know why are you against the status quo, right? Like, because if you weren't one of these people, you wouldn't have any reason to be a player character.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a couple ideas. I like the idea of doing more than one.
Yep.
So the first one I was definitely thinking of was foreign born. Not
definitely.
from the metropolis. So that's the first thing. In fact, I was actually thinking that I might actually be maybe I want to say half Republican, but
yeah,
I don't is that the term? I don't know what you would say. Someone who's
let's use that term.
Okay, half
because
Republican.
because we don't have a legit. So you could have been a citizen if you weren't if it weren't for one of your parents.
Yeah, there's like a
I mean,
shame
the
or
thing
something.
is, Eric, you say half Republican, but you're just not a Republican. You're just not a citizen.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Don't even play at it.
Well, yeah.
Not
Okay.
even way.
I think that's yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. In the do you have what physical signifiers give you away as being not a member of the Republic's like core race? Do you have a different skin tone, a different eye color, a different build?
Yeah, I definitely think I have a different build. I think I think I would almost look the part if it weren't for some like a few key features, and I think the obvious one is that I think I'm shorter than average. I think I don't know how tall everyone is, but I'm probably like a head shorter than everyone else.
Yep. Cool. Awesome.
So I'm smaller in size. I think the other thing I might be interested in exploring is that I might be asexual. That I'm just
Yeah.
not
Cool.
interested in
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. That is legit. Yeah. You're not going to help fill the Republic with babies for future stronger Republic.
Yeah.
That an abomination. I just want to point out that you're perfectly welcome to be a foreigner or ethnic minority that isn't visibly so. You can have that ethnic identity without being visible,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the visible things give me uh, it gives me ways to like tweak on you.
Yeah, like while it, for me as a player, it might be more interesting to be like, man, I look just like you, but you never will accept me, kind of thing. But also as a game master, it'd be much nicer to have a physical tell and have a
Yeah,
representation of it. So I'm totally there with you.
yeah. Andrew, are you having any feelings?
Yeah, I think I want my character to be a woman who pretended she was a man for the majority of her life and got away with it for a long time.
Ah, awesome. Who?
That's how she learned all this stuff she's not supposed to know.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Cool. Do we have names that are coming to us?
Um, Not yet, but should we? How about before we select names, then? How about we think
Should we have a
about
look at that and bond?
what kind of like cultural name should we, like, or what kind of like family group kind of stuff are we maybe thinking?
Yeah. So as far as the Republic, I tend to allow people to choose either Greek stuff or Roman stuff because people tend to
Okay.
just kind of blend them in their head,
Yeah.
which is totally legit. I mean, part of this is to kind of make fun of classicism
Mm-hmm.
as like an ideal. So I'm perfectly happy for someone to be like, you know, Hermes Brutus or like just
Hermes McBrutus.
yeah, just feel free to like mix things up a bit. But at the same time, if you want to talk about like if there's a culture that your character that you want to kind of draw from your character, and we can do this respectfully. That's then you're welcome to use that kind of naming scheme.
Um,
And so
yeah.
within that tradition, then like there's all kinds of funny stuff around like how women are named because they used to just like number their daughters and stuff. At least the Romans did. They were like total dicks.
Yeah.
So I think my character's male name would be something like Scipio or some like, very
Yeah.
forward, aggressive manly name. And then they were born like Segunda or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm actually, speaking of which, I'm just gonna go right in line there. I'm Romano.
Can I get do you want to check that in your character sheet so I can see the spell?
Oh yeah. Let me.
So you Secundus Scipio, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Flash.
Oh,
Yeah.
Romano. There
That's
we go.
perfect. Eric, can you edit my character's name on their
Do you
sheet?
not have? You should have access to it.
I don't remember how to edit the name. That's all.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna get Eric to do it. Eric, can you help me? Can you just do this for me?
And Secundus.
Secunda.
And yes, the feminine ends with an A.
Here we go.
Thanks.
Awesome. So yeah, the next things we want to think about are our bonds between our characters. So normally I get people to do one with the person on their right and the person on their left. For you guys, that's both of you. So do you want to do have 2 levels of bond, or do we want to just have one that's like super intense?
I think we should have 2 levels of bond. I think that'd be interesting.
Like it's the you've got multiple connections at multiple levels.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I'm not sure how the bond part is supposed to work here, but yeah, especially if one's supposed to be like help hurt, I feel like that would be cool. You know,
Yeah,
if,
this is specifically just to make sure that we have a reason to be a fucking party, right? Like,
yeah.
it's not
Okay.
tied into the mechanics apart from narratively.
Okay.
Well, did I teach you stuff?
Mm.
Is this like a master and apprentice kind of relationship, or are we part of some weird like collective, some anarchic
Yeah. Are there a list of
your
bonds
collective?
to choose from,
There
or do we
isn't
just
there
make
isn't
one?
a list. It's free form
Okay.
in the same way
Um,
that the callings are free form.
Oh,
how about
sorry.
you taught me, and we're also part of some religion that's um or something like that that
Yeah.
lets us.
So some kind of non-state sanctioned cult that we're part of.
Yeah, like a little something like heretical, a little bit more like
Yeah.
progressive or something than what people would want, right?
Clearly.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So we've got the teacher. Um, is the power dynamic from the religious side of things between you the same, inverted, or neutral? Are you both the same like level of knowledge as far as religion is this cult slash religion is concerned? Does one of you have more authority on the religious side of things?
I was
I'm
gonna ask.
probably pretty new to this particular sect or whatever, because I used to be just pretending to be part of the like main,
Mm,
See,
you know.
okay, if you want, well, I kind of had the picture, and it kind of goes against what you were saying though. Like, what if part of your time as Scipio was to join sort of like the religion, and then you became a priest or whatever, and we came to this town, and you kind of been kind of like subverting it a little bit, in that kind of way, and like maybe like you, so in effect you were kind of like the pastor or the shepherd.
Oh, like this was part of my whole double life, is that
Yeah,
when I wasn't being a man, I could be part of this like religious thing.
yeah, well, yeah, like you lied about being a man in order to like gain the priesthood or whatever and learn the way of the elements, and you did and stuff until they finally assigned you to this small town or whatever, as sort of like to shepherd the flock, and and you've just been kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm the first person you taught that should not have been taught, and it felt good, or something, and it made you realize. So maybe we have a special connection that way, but maybe that's too forced. Maybe I.
I
I
like the
like
idea of you being the first person I've taught like ever at all.
Yeah, I like the reason I was asking because I like the idea of one person having authority because of the teaching and one person having authority because of the religious element, and like you have this like you both have a certain form of like
Power, yeah,
mastery
Yeah.
over
or
the other.
domain, yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Then okay. What if I'm the more religious person?
Yeah, like I've recently like found this religion, um, and that's how I know you, but you are like you've been practicing it your whole life because it's maybe like connected to your culture.
What my non-Republican? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the kinds of spirituality and traditions that people develop when they're separated from their culture, and you get these sort of like um, pigeon religions
Yeah.
almost. And I think that's really fascinating. Seeing people be like, I need spirituality and I need these things, but I only have parts of what my culture gave me.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So I try to work in some of those things into um the religion, and apparently you were somehow going down the same path, and so that was definitely a uniting factor.
Yeah, I wonder if I like ran away to here or something because like I assume that my time pretending to be a man has come to an end and that I have
Yeah,
been like outed in some way.
yeah. And the hounds are upon you.
Yeah. And so I've like run away to this small town on the outskirts.
Mm. Okay.
Does anyone have a preference? So let's talk about this religion because I'm really interested in this. What are its hallmarks? What is it? What does it teach? What is it that has? Uh, Andrew, would your character prefer that I refer to them as Secunda or Scipio?
Um, hmm. Let's
That's
say
really like,
Scipio. Secunda is like my dead name.
yeah,
Scipio
exactly.
is me. Yeah.
So would Scipio prefer that I? What is it that drew Scipio into the religion? Right, like what is the teaching that like what are some of its teachings and what about those? Um, so I think Eric, what are its core teachings, and then Andrew, what are the things that brought Scipio into it that made Scipio go, oh, I want to know more about this.
So, well, I think the big thing would be highlighting the difference between what's going on with the primary major religion and what's so different about us. And so I think the big thing that's about difference is perhaps salvation. It's about who can be saved. Perhaps it's or
So there is an afterlife in this, according to this religion.
yeah, but I think it's a little bit less
Not like go to heaven,
afterlife.
but
Yeah, but it's a little bit more like
oh,
reincarnate elemental.
okay, yep. Yeah.
And so I think the idea is that you know the primary religion teaches that only like through strong prayer and ritual can your elements reduce back to the form and like the form, and that's like what it's called of like the primordial thing. But
Yeah.
Perhaps this belief believes that it's not in ritual, but it's in faith and like belief in good works is like the more important thing. That recognizing what's good is better than just following the um, you know
The dogma.
the dogma.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And what are some of the what are some of the practices that like what is it that you do in the world, like what that identifies you as that is part of this religion, rather than just being a good person?
Sure. Well, I definitely think it's helping. The primary focus is helping those who can't help themselves.
Yep, definitely.
So something that I just thought of was being a water bearer.
Mm-hmm.
So like you are the person who fetches water, but not just for your house or whatever. You bring water to others who can't get it.
That's
Or,
really interesting. Cool. Because that ties into um, like the way that you'll play that out mechanically. Um, because water is the element of healing, and also of like compassion. Um,
oh, perfect.
yeah. So that's definitely, um, and also of sadness. So like it's like recognizing the sadness in others and healing them. So that really like creates a very strong elemental, like singular elemental theme for this,
Yeah.
right? Like it's saying like this
Can,
element
yeah.
is very important to this religion. Like it's one.
In fact, there's something I think I'm gonna go even a little bit further than that. And I would say like a bath or washing them is
Yeah.
actually even better.
Yeah. Cool. I'm loving the fact that this has a lot of like this does have a lot of like early Christian themes, which like totally puts
Yeah,
us in that
I'm
like
totally stealing
like
that. Yeah.
hidden, which is really cool. I like that. Cool. Andrew, what are the things that that Scipio has been like drawn to?
I
What was
think, yeah, what drew him in was that at one, like, I think the way that I got outed is that I was sick, and So, like I
Yeah.
was no longer in a position of strength where I could maintain, like people had to like help me. And so invariably it got revealed uh, that I wasn't what I purported to be. And so then I was very quickly like on the outs, but that these people would still help me in ways that I very much needed. Like took care of me when I was sick and
Yeah.
brought me water or like bathed me. And that it was like a place that was free of the kind of judgment and expectation that existed before. And so, although it's not necessarily in keeping with Scipio's own nature in terms of the like teachings and stuff,
Yeah.
there's just this great like sympathy or appreciation for it.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Eric.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
That didn't just do that for me. Cheers. Sorry, Andrew. I was just chucking a straw poll in so that the people can start saying which element the fates currently favor. But yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I want to know how Scipio responded to being cared for at all, right? Like even if it weren't about your hidden identity, like
Like as a sign of weakness, right?
Yeah,
like if nothing else, like Scipio was very uncomfortable with that. And it was like incredibly hard, and like I probably let myself get really bad before I let anyone help me, and then I have this trauma of it being people helping me is why I'm here in my own head, right? Of like that's how it was, how my whole ruse was revealed.
How about this? How about when you were sick, instead of them helping you, they kicked you out, whatever, and when you were sick, you found yourself over here, and I was one of the people who helped you.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe even just like I assumed that things would go super badly for me, and so I just like self-exiled to the countryside to die. Yeah. And then these people actually like nursed me back to health.
So like, okay, so as far as like that's really really interesting. So you almost took the peace death, right? Like if a character dies, in this game there are multiple options that they can choose, and the last one is peace, accept death, retire to the country, herd goats, accept death or retire to the country, herd goats, and wait for it. Like I like that idea of you're like, I'm sick, I've got a really bad cold, time to go off and wait for death to come.
Yeah, this character actually already played one campaign or one season of this in the Metropolis, and then now they've ended up here.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Cool. All right. So we have this interesting religion. Do we have an ism for this religion? Does it have a name, or we can use for it, or some kind of marker, the signifier?
It was founded by this guy Chris. So maybe something related to that.
Chris T.
Or yeah, it was Christine. So Christianity.
Christine. Cool.
No, I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I don't know. Something maybe like the Way of Water or something like that.
That sounds great. Yep. Yeah, because we don't want too much of a formal name.
Yeah.
Because it's still, it's.
The Republic hasn't deemed fit to name and catalog it yet.
No, it's not. There isn't a file. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we've got our bonds. Now we can get into some real, callings. So, callings are what our character believes and what they're going to do about them. They're pretty burning wheelie. Working towards or achieving your calls gets you. For a one shot, it's not too important because it gets you restoration at the end of the session. So if at the end of the session you are damaged, you're gonna get some healing out of it. But it's good to have that regardless. And we specifically, I kind of skipped over it a little bit there, which is dumb, but we specifically put that straight after why your character is not a citizen, because often we find that the reason they're not a citizen will inform what they believe and what they're going to do about it.
Well, I think Scipio has this bullheaded notion that he's going to somehow restore himself to a position within the metropolis.
Mm.
Uh,
I'll think of some good wording for it in a second.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm trying to think of how to frame mine, but I really think the idea is that Romano finds some joy helping other people's problems because his problem of not being able to be part of the Republic can't be easily solved.
Right?
So it's like he's washing away other people's sins to kind of like help him with his own kind of thing. Like he's trying to like help other people so he can feel better because he can't help himself. But I don't know if that's strong enough.
I mean, like, you can definitely have that. It's just going to be kind of tricky to trigger on the back end of it, right? Like, because, like, my own salvation is
Right.
going to take a lot of
it's a little.
people to like to get there.
Can you give me an example of some different ones that people have chosen?
A similar one to yours. A character that one of my players was playing had to recover from pretty intense and very personal, like, bodily trauma, and they'd learned a way of meditation, and they wanted to spread this and give this to other people. So they're similar to your kind of wanting to heal others, but because we were running a one shot, they specifically said, this one person, this other player, I'm going to teach this form of meditation and peace to. Others include things like, I mean, there are ones like, I'm going to like finally escape the hounds that chase me, because they were sick of like this constant running away. We've had some that are more directly related to specific in-story elements. You know, there is a person who is hiding amongst the armed forces that I know is one of my people, and I want to like provide them with solidarity, which ended up being a really bad idea because then they accidentally outed them. But
so Scipio, or is it Scipio or Scipio?
yeah, you should.
I'll say Scipio because it sounds better in English.
Okay.
Yep.
Who knows what the original Latin pronunciation was?
Yeah. So what? All right. So I know the goal. I know the goal that I want. I want to with Scipio. I want to join. I want to find a place in the metropoli. I want to be able to go there, and for some reason I think that I'm not allowed to go. So I think.
I mean, is it something to do with the fact that just question, is it your father or your mother that is a citizen? Or not? Well, I mean, only
my father's a citizen, my mother's not.
Okay, okay. So maybe you want to, like, maybe you think you're entitled to citizenry because your father is a citizen. That's definitely definitely a reason to want to be a part of the metropolis and reclaim.
Yeah. But so the idea is that I believe I should be part of the Republic, essentially. And the way I symbolic and do that is finding a place in the metropoli.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a great calling.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the way that these characters, like, have these beliefs of like I want to go back and be a part of like ordered society, whereas like we know that like I've never seen player characters, even when they genuinely want to be a part of society, actually manage it because they just cause too much shit, like consistently.
We're just oil that really wants to go back into the water. We feel like we're gonna be part of that. It's gonna be good.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, I'm interested to know, do you think that you can continue to practice your religion if you, the way of water, if you become parts of the metropolis, or like rejoin polite society? What like that's a headbutt right there, right? Like I just want to know what your outlook on that is.
I think so, but I think play might tell us otherwise.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I like having characters who believe they can have their cake and eat it at the start.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Last bit of character creation. Choose 10 dice to show which elements are strongest within you. They all start out live. Now, in Roll20, your in the attributes and abilities, I've given you like a card and a max for all 5 dice types. It's probably a good idea to have a chat about the kinds of dice and things. So in the Republic, your main stats. These are your stats, right? This is all of them. This is all the numbers you get. And when we play the table, it's just a pile of dice in front of you. And so each dice type has an element associated with it. The D4s are associated with fire. D6s are associated with earth. D8s are associated with air. D12s are associated with the heavenly element of the soul, the self, and the void. And D20s are associated with water. And so if I choose to have a lot of D8s in my pool, that means that air is a stronger element within my character. I'm more likely to be joyful but forgetful. I'm more likely to be nimble and fast. I'm probably going to run away from fights more than get into them, because that element is stronger within me. I think it's handout 3.
Yes.
Has all this has like a bunch of like, these are mostly personality traits sort of stuff, that kind of like help us out with thinking about the kinds of things we want to do. The other thing that is worth looking at, or I can talk us through it, is on handout 1. We have the different elemental actions that are used with the dice. So when we take actions in the Republic, you narrate, and then we get to a point where I'd say it sounds like you're trying to nimbly avoid danger. If we're good. And then you can choose which of your dice you want to use to do that. You can try and nimbly avoid danger with the fire within you, right? Like you might be using your anger to avoid danger, but it's not going to be as good as if you're using the air element within you. Just the magic trick maths of the results means that air is going to be more successful at nimbly avoiding danger.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you can't do it. You can get to the end of the thing and realize that, oh no, wait, I don't have any water dice left, but I really need to fucking heal myself. I'm going to try and do it with self die, because they're slightly more likely to be good at it than trying to heal myself with fire. So you can do that. It's just that you're going to be better at things that align with your elements within you. And yeah, so we have 10 to choose from. So it sounds like, for instance, Romano probably has a bunch of water die. If you're
I think I've calculated how I want to distribute my 10 dice.
Yeah.
I have 1 in fire, 2 in earth, 1 in air, 2 in self, and 4 in water.
Cool. Awesome.
Are we
So
permitted to have 0 dice in a
You're
thing?
permitted to have 0 dice in anything you like. You're allowed to have all of them in fire if you want to. Um,
I do want to. Ash, that's what I want.
okay.
I think I have
You're a
no water
very
dice.
angry person,
I have no
right? Like,
water dice, and I have 4 fire, 2 earth, 1 air, 3 self.
that sounds great. I like the fact that you're part of this water religion with no water dice. Like, you just like, yeah, that's really cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
I'm actually gonna modify. I'm gonna have 1. I'm thinking I'm gonna give myself a little bit more earth. I'm gonna give myself 3.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Rad. And yeah, check your max in as well for each of those, because you're when we play at the table, we have 2 piles: our live dice and our dead dice, and we move dice to the dead pile when they become dead. So like, and that represents our sort of like hit points / exhaustion. So we need to make sure we know how many were in the pile originally, and we'll just increase and decrease those as we go. But that is all good. All right. So now I want to know why we've chosen the town that we've chosen. Like, what is it that is special to, just so that I've got a bit to work with. I want to know, yeah, what is it about this town? Does it have a name? What is it that made it the place that you ended up?
It's got to be
Is it?
peaceful and quiet because you chose
Mhm.
this place to die on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. It's like a leper colony. It's like this is a place where people go to die.
Oh yes, amazing.
And
Yep.
so that's where I think this type of religion would do the most good is helping, like a hospice type situation.
Yeah.
And
Cool. That's really interesting.
I think maybe also I ended up here because like an uncle of mine owns like a villa nearby or something.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Awesome. Um, Now, one thing I'm really bad at is like Greco-Roman place names. So if anyone has any suggestions, I'm totally open to them.
for a place name,
Yeah, for town name.
I mean, I kind of like the name Chosen, just as a
Oh, awesome.
simple.
Yeah. All right.
But
Yeah, that's also like kind of slightly ominous, right?
yeah,
Like it almost means it almost suggests that you're destined to become like to end up here as like part of the colony.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think it's also you've chose to be here as a way to like end your last days or something like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Awesome. Cool.
yeah, but it also has that sort of like, yeah, you're a dignified, yeah,
That sounds
auspicious,
really
yeah.
cool. Well, I'm gonna need a couple of minutes to like sort through these notes.
Okay.
I think we're about time for a break.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we're about on an
No,
hour, aren't we?
exactly.
Excellent, cool. Well, should we take a like a 10-minute, 5 or 10 minute break?
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be perfect. We will do that, and then we'll come back and we'll get going again. So yeah, we're about right at the top of the hour. So we'll be back in
Excellent.
about 5 minutes.
All right,
Awesome.
cool.
All right, guys.
All right.